Well, good morning. Saturday morning to you. It is not on my right setting to see it's Saturday, the 7th of September 2024 in beautiful Eagle Nest, New Mexico, 30 miles south of the Colorado border at 8,000 feet. It is 5:19 a.m. and it is dark and it is 38 degrees outside and it's 76 inside here. I like it warm, as you can tell. I have my coffee, I have my comments, and I am ready to go. So let's see. Let's see. We still have comments on the drive to St. James Hotel that came in late. Let's make sure. Well, no, the first one is surprising revelations in Eagle Nest, New Mexico history. That is the interview I did on local history. Robert Burns says, I enjoyed the history of how large tracts of land were transferred to conservation districts. I worked on rebuilding a port in Gulfport, Mississippi, which required we transferred a fishing property to a conservation district as part of an offset required in the EIS and make road improvements for public use. Great history story. Thanks. Then we have on the drive to St. James Hotel, murders, ghosts, Wyatt Earp, Doc Holliday. That's King for a Day is continuing south on that road to St. James Highway. Highway 21 Collision Avenue will take you to the Philmont Scout Ranch. I have been there. Stayed there many a time at Scout Ranch, all those campsites at Cimarron Canyon, fishing, camping, hiking. King for a Day also on the same video, different comment. The stretch of this road east of Ute Park shortly before summer is where the Ute Park Fire 2018 swept through. Right after it happened, it's very sad to travel through that area charred that was once lush green vegetation. The area is still recovering. One can sometimes still smell the odor of a campfire. The burned area is most noticeable on the driver's side of the road, making traveling west back towards Eagle Nest from Cimarron. And we have our long-form video yesterday was, want a full-time IV, 10 things to consider first. So you want to be a nomad. Think about these 10 things before you do it. Sally Forth says it occurs to me and aligns with my channel name of Sally Forth, meaning to charge forth, that all the uncertainty and unfamiliarity can either help us grow and stay younger, or for some people it may help them contract and feel anxious. Definitely worth thinking about when you choose to be a nomad. I think all of it possible. Trying it out for a shorter period of time can be really beneficial. I agree. Try it out first if you can. Then my short positive news was a pair of girls, young ladies, and certainly ladies now, after the time has passed. There was a boarding school in New Orleans. They were challenged with doing a unique solve of Pythagorean theory in mathematics, and they ended up solving it with trigonometry, much to the shock of much of the mathematics world. And Charles Barkley took notice and donated $1 million to that school. Pretty amazing. Ken Gray says, very smart young girls. M. Campbell to the previous day, I think, was intergenerational housing. Young people can get so much from seniors. They can be patient, freely give their undivided attention. Growing up, our next door neighbors were an elderly couple. As a 5-year-old, I liked slipping through the hedge and visiting them. They had the best stories, and I occasionally managed to get a homemade cookie or two or three. The gentleman was actually a World War I vet and used a wheelchair. His stories of his time in the Army were very interesting, but always age appropriate. Many years later, in conversation with my mother, I mentioned the couple. She told me that my visits had meant so very much to them. They loved having me next door. When I was growing up, at that age, there was a woman across the street, the mother of the woman and husband and family that lived there. And she had a little back room with a rocking chair. And I used to go very frequently back there, and I'd bring my friends with me. And I didn't have any clue that it meant anything to that family or to that woman. I just thought she was really cool and she was fun to visit. Lisa Roth on the comments video. Have a great day, Rob. Hi to Dottie and George. Thank you, Lisa. Want a full-time RV video. MEEG5FR. That's some name. Awesome vid. You cover points. I've never heard any nomad mention address before. Being a nomad currently on sabbatical from it, I can totally relate to all these. The quality of life, everyday stuff is not glamorous, clickbait. But that is what can cause nomad failure probably the majority of the time. Poor financial and logistical planning are on the way up too. You know, things to consider. I didn't talk about finances because you can certainly on the fly change how much you're spending related to housing and food on the fly. Anybody can do that. If you're dragging debt with you, that debt would be with you no matter where you live. So it's not really relevant. M. Campbell on the basketball trigonometry story. It's great that Charles Barkley is keeping his word. It'll all make a positive difference to many kids' lives. I agree with you. It's really interesting to see where these two girls end up. Yeah, they're going to do something amazing. Even if it's not in a career, math is a big part of the lessons they learn from the cooperative effort, and persistence will pay off, you bet. M. Campbell, the flame color on your heater would have put me into investigation overdrive mysteries like that. It seriously piqued my interest, which is more than average anyway. I'm not going to go into that explanation again, but I had a propane heater where the blue flame turned orange, and repair people couldn't figure it out. Nobody could figure it out, and I finally discovered that it was salty water in my humidifier. The salt was getting in the atmosphere and inside the trailer, and it was turning the flame yellow, and it was starting to do it on the stove flames as well. Ken Gray says, good advice. Glad that Travels with Dottie is traveling with Dottie. That's on You Want to Be a Full-Time RVer. Lisa said on that same video, great job, Rob. I think you brought up topics that are important but rarely mentioned. Terry McIntyre on the comments video. Can you tell when someone skips through the video, watch a couple minutes and skip ahead before watching the end? But no, I can't, but I bet YouTube has those stats that they track. Again, that same So You Want to Be a Nomad video, EPH1-4 says, thank you, Rob. Another full-time want to be a full-timer. M. Campbell says, a minor thing to share, but it's been quite handy for me. In the Walmart app and some grocery store apps, you can search for the item you want, and it will show you the location. The app picks up on which store you're in currently, and the locations are store specific. Sometimes it's nice to meander and look, but sometimes you want to get in and out ASP. Really good point. I've used that before. Certainly, a lot in Walmart. And Walmart, what is it? Someone tell me. Explain this to me. A, B, C, D. They letter the sections. Are they in a row all the time next to each other? Is it L, M, N, O? No, they're not. Oh, P's over there, the other side of the store. O's here. No, P's over there. It's like everyone. And I'm always... The thing in the app that says, here it is in stock, is always in one of these sections that doesn't make any sense. Coffees and comment. Looking forward to the hotel video. That will likely be today. That's from Ken Gray. Michael's Human. Thanks. Very important video. Safe travels. That's Want to Be a Full-Time RVer. Again, we have another one on Renogy inverter fails to run a microwave. And the comment is, what a lifesaver. We had just finished our van wiring and been using the Renogy 3000 with a 1.8 kilowatt hot air gun for the shrinks shrink sleeving all along. Next day, we put the 1.8 kilowatt oven on for the first run, and the inverter tripped after 10 seconds. Thought it was the oven, but did the same with the air gun. It was just as though the inverter had turned off for a moment. Emailed Renogy for advice, and they replied in Chinese. I then found your video, and it made all sense. The 300 amp resettable fuse felt warm. It had a voltage drop across of nearly 2 volts. I'm assuming that's with no power. I don't know. 2 volts is nothing, so I'm a little confused about that. We replaced it with a real fuse, and everything is okay. That was my solution. I'm glad it worked. If you do the solution and you get a real fuse, make sure it's a properly sized fuse. It's not too big, let too much current through. But get a good fuse. And you know how you can tell you have a good fuse? It's way more expensive than the ones you want her to buy, like double. Then it's probably a good fuse. Lisa, boy, those girls showed the value of persistence. Good on Charles Barkley for recognizing the girls in the school with cash to spend on education. That's from Lisa. Want a full-time RV? Want to be a nomad? Thanks. This spoke directly to me. That was from Wanda Hope Wandering. Same video, country comes to town. Great information. Thank you so much for all your thoughts and information on these points. And I had a real short, a whim. I did George the cat, and Randy said, George, happy face at you, love. I'm not sure what all that means, but it's all nice. I can give you that. And user blah, blah, blah says, beautiful cat. The user YZ2LX3BR7R. But there's a little picture of her. She's a very attractive lady. Randy says, good for them and good for Charles Barkley. And M. Campbell says, Georgetown is always welcome. All right. Confession time. M. Campbell, I responded to that, but I was talking about something else. I said, M. Campbell, thanks goodness you said something about the BML rate raise error. I had misread the announcement, so I quickly removed and reposted it. You'll see this video out there now. You might have already seen it about the BLM. The LTVA is proposing a ginormous rate increase for everyone, and everyone's going to be upset about it. And I did a video on it real quick, trying to, if there's a positive here, let's try to see it. And after I mentioned that I had said incorrectly that the $40 for 2 weeks was going up to $100 for a month. And I said it in that video. And after about 40 views, M. Campbell came in and said, I'm confused. Your chart says 200. You said 100. And I made this whole point about the 100, and I was wrong. I misread it. And I quickly deleted that video and cobbled through a corrected video, put it back up, put in the description and in the comment, I apologize to my first 40 viewers for giving you such bad. That's a nightmare for a YouTuber, is to suddenly discover you've put out bad information. And it would have gone a lot further with many more people had it not been for M. Campbell pointing it out. So I wanted to, I don't know that she didn't, there's no like on my comment. I said, thank goodness you said something. I don't think she's seen it, but hopefully she'll be watching this. On the back to the Nomad video, Utah, Paul says, Rob, do you ever have a problem with your sail switch on your heater where you have to replace it because it gets clogged up with pet hair? Mine does, because I have a Shih Tzu and she sheds. I brought my Impaler in 2020, and this will be the third time I have to replace it. And no, I haven't. Dottie sheds, but probably, and the cat sheds. Everybody sheds. And it would probably be an issue, but I just don't use the furnace very often. I use alternative, like when I'm plugged in, I use an electric. When I'm in quartzsite, I use my Empire heater that I hang on the wall. It's just the regular furnace is just too inefficient for me, energy-wise. Let's see. Okay, so I got comments here on the quartzite LTVA rates go up, proposed things to consider. So that bled into these comments because it was I posted late in the afternoon. First one is from Dottie's Travels. It's a pinned comment. Apologies if you're one of the 40 viewers that saw the first version of this video that stated that new monthly rate was posted at $100 instead of the actual $200. Then we have Richard Cockrell says, $8.20 Canadian. Oh well, more craft dinner. Brooke the Nomad says, handsome dude to George the Cat. And Richard Cockrell is back on the quartzite LTVA rates. Does BLM have the power to do this? Is there an agency above who has the last word? I've been looking, so I'm not sure. Will they do the $600? Hope not. Even half is okay, but we still go on. It's a long way for us to travel, but we love it. So, yeah, the Department of Interior is certainly above BLM. But that question, who has the authority? I was trying to figure that out when the state of New Mexico did it. Did the Parks Department itself have the authority? And it turns out just needed signature by the governor, I think. But I never saw that in writing. It's a difficult question to answer. But in the past, I've seen articles on rate raises on BLM areas all over the place, and nobody makes a fuss of it because they're usually pretty small areas, individual campsite areas and remote locations, and there's not a big. And this is much different. This is a raise to, I think 6 or 8. This is a raise to 4 large LTV areas in one place where they get 1 million visitors every winter. So it's much bigger than others. Well, those fees are saying something without saying it. Maybe. I think they're saying we're going to get away with as much. There's a lot of people there, a lot of demand, and we haven't raised rates since 2008. So we're going to see if we can get away with as much as we possibly can get away with. Also, the Randy thanks me for all the links. If you see this video, there's links for the full proposal. There are links to if you want to buy your pass now for $180 this year, you can do that online. And there's also directions for they're inviting public comment, and there's an email address in a format for the subject line and a due date for when you have to get your public opinion in. Bob Stellarmaker says at $600 a season, it will definitely keep the crowds down. Yeah, probably. Want a full-time RV? Naj says, great video. I'm not on the road yet. I'm gathering information. Thanks a lot. Thanks. And Terry on the same video. Hi, Rob. I really like it when you have a list or top 10 video. I think I'm so structured and symmetrical that I will tend to think in bullet points. Crazy, right? This also leads me to your number 2, adaptability and flexibility with shopping. I'm apparently so structured that I find it so annoying when grocery stores or other chain stores don't make them identical throughout the country. Drives me nuts. Set in my ways. Love the video and thanks for sharing. Back to the quartzite rate increases. Lisa says, this will hurt the ones in minivans and cars and tents the most. It will also make camp hosts in 14-day BLM areas much harder. BLM may have to hire more hosts for those areas. This could increase the homeless population in quartzite. And for me, on just a personal level, the change could change how I live after this winter. Ken Gray says that would be too much of an increase too fast. Yeah, I wouldn't like it. Yeah, that's $180 to $600. That's like triple. It's 333%. That's a big increase. I don't think inflation has inflation gone up 333% since 2008. Certainly the big ones like I don't think gasoline has tripled since 2008. So let's just see. Let's gas price 2008. I pick gas because it's the thing that seems to go up the most. And in 2008, the price of gas in the United States peaked at $4.11 per gallon. So gas is left. So that's a bad example. Price increases since 2008. Let's see what it says here. I have a little article. How much has it gone up since 2009? It's saying cumulative price increase of 36% since 2009. So maybe let's round it up for one more year, 40%. You got 40 prices going up 40% since you last raised rates, and you're raising 333%. I don't think so. I'm calling BS. 2300 DDJ says, I know you don't like politics on your channel, but you commented about politicians will be notified about this proposal. That's not really what I mean by politics. I said that a lot of people will be upset. Politicians in conclusion, in particular, politicians that cover that quartzite La Paz County area, knowing that it'll hurt their constituents, they will not be happy about it. And I don't think that the local community directly benefits from that increased revenue. Pahrump for Visitors is the year-old video that does very well. Larry says, I turn at the light. I don't know what that means, but thanks anyway. I'm sure if I probably wondered, can you turn right on red after stop in Nevada, something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. Nana Chris Casita. I sure hope this doesn't happen. So many people can't afford it. That's the price hike. And that's true. I could absorb it. I won't be happy, but I could absorb the price increase and I'll keep going. But there are people on tight budgets that count on a very inexpensive place to live and community for the winter. And for those folks, if this prices them out of that, I'm very, very sad about that. Susan Sandoval, another concern is safety, especially want a full-time RV, 10 things to consider first. Another concern is safety, especially for single women. Also leaving family behind like kids and grandkids. Some people can't figure out the financial aspect of this lifestyle as well. Some of us can't just work from home. These things are reasons I'm staying put. I still like to live vicariously through people like you. Thanks for that. Yeah, Susan, there are lots of there's more than 10 reasons for sure. I haven't found safety to be any kind of an issue whatsoever, any different from anywhere I've ever lived, but it could be very different for single women, and not being a single woman, I can't really speak with authority on that. And certainly leaving family behind like kids and grandkids, I think that's absolutely true and a big consideration, yet it's not exactly a hidden one. I mean, people understand, hey, if I'm going to pack up an RV and leave my family in Keokuk, Iowa and go out west and live, I'm not going to be seeing my family much. So, and as far as the financial aspect, there's so much variability. You can live for almost nothing and then live, as much as it costs you, and it sticks and bricks. My feeling is if you can't figure out your finances where you're living now, you're not going to get any better at it on the road. Right? It's you either have those skills or you don't have those skills. But there's far more flexibility being a nomad on your finances than there is in living one place. You can always change the amount of rent you're paying at a moment's notice. Usually you're paying for a month at a time at the most, if not a day at a time. So you can change positions and change your economics. Judy, on the rates, I believe it will seriously hurt the businesses in Q. I know I can't afford it. It's a 300% increase. That's criminal. I emailed the BLM with my opinion for what it's worth. Yeah, in the description, it gives you instructions on how to do it. The BLM's they're gonna hear some responses. There's 1 million people that come into Quartzsite. I don't know what percentage of them go to stay in the LTVA, but it's massive. And if you look through the proposal, I think it tells you how many people do it. Well, they're going to hear from a lot of those people. And then from politicians and locals, and just people are going to be angry about this. And George the cat short. Nosh says George is so cute. Back to the LTVA rates. RV Adventure Travel says, buying ours now. Thanks for the heads up. I do put a link in there where here's where you can buy. You can buy your pass ahead of time. It's $180 for the season. Definitely. I don't know when they're going to make this effective, but certainly if you buy a pass right now on recreation.gov, they're not going to say, well, give me another $420 or $320 because it's $600 now. It's not going to happen. So that is today, and Dottie's still sleeping. Right, Dottie? Hey, Dottie, are you ready for breakfast? She's not even moving today. Oh, she heard that, though. You heard that, didn't you? You heard your snacks. Me yelling your name? Nope, didn't hear it. A slight crinkle of a cellophane bag. Suddenly you're awake. Shame on you. See you later.